I think I ran out of time, Gary. I think there's a 20-minute time limit, so this is part 2. Yeah, it is a 20-minute time limit, so I must have reached the 20 minutes. So over here I have books on Red Cloud's War, again, Indian Wars. Red Cloud's War, Patricana's War, Powder River Odyssey, Guarding the Overland Trails, 11th Ohio Cavalry in the Civil War. There's a little Remington book. Down here I have more on Indian Wars. Let's see what's behind here. Adobe Walls, Beecher Island, Summit Springs. Over here I have Red River War, Bozeman Trail, which was part of a war. Sometimes I just don't have the perfect place for books. Storms Brewed in Other Men's Worlds, Indian Fights and Fighters, Warpath and Council Fire, Soldiers of the Plains by Byrne. That's a hard one to find, but I got a copy. Military Conquest of the Southern Plains. This I made a cover for myself. This is Platte Bridge, Battle of Platte Bridge, July 25 to 26, 1865 by Vaughan. You probably have this book, Massacre Along the Medicine Road by Ronald Beecher, The Buffalo Soldier Tragedy of 1877, Columns of Vengeance. Okay, so now what's down here? Oh boy, books in front of books, and I'm out of focus. Okay. I don't even remember what's back here. Oh, okay. All of those 5 volumes of books by Cousins are back here, and biographies, Encyclopedia, a Frontier biography by Thrapp. Basically some big fat history books over here. These News of the Plains and Rockies. These big books by a guy named, was it William Bagley? Well, his last name is Bagley, and he's got some really nice books on the American West. Oklahoma Press. And by the way, these books here, I get them real cheap. I wait for them to go on sale at New Year's time, and they're all very cheap, and there's just lots of articles in here. Not articles written by modern day scholars, but I mean I shouldn't even call it articles. Just chapters from people from from history. Maybe part of a journal, things like that. Why do I keep going out of focus? Okay. Here's a little collectible Howard Terpning book. So now down here is all art. These are all art books. Seltzer, Lovell, Terpning, Joe Beeler, Grande, Jim Carson, Z.S. Liang, Harold von Schmidt, Edward Borin, William de la Montagne Carey, W.H.D. Coroner. So lots of Paxson is over here. Kunstler, Robert Griffin, he's really, really good. Mostly does Eastern Indians, but he also does some Western stuff, but not a lot. Frank McCarthy, of course, you know. So lots. I have opera elsewhere too, but I can't get them all in the same spot. Okay, time to get up. Okay, up here I've got more binders. This is my wife's bookcase. She's out of room, so now she's putting books all around the area. She's got this white container down there for more books, and now she just bought this yesterday, and she's got more books to put in there. Okay, now we're going to be going into where it's a little bit dark. I'll do my best over here. Up here is all Western fiction. The top, these are 2 bookcases next to each other, but the top, basically two top shelves over here, and the 2 top shelves over here are all Western fiction. You can see I'm out of room, so now I'm putting books on their side. These were 2 cool books that I found. F Troop and High Chaparral. There's drawings in them, they're illustrated. They're old books a little bit. Not the, what was I going to say? You got to be careful with them. You don't want them to fall apart. So those are from like the late 1960s. Okay, over here I've got, it's kind of a mixed up in here. I've got some art books and some big books about basically kind of like encyclopedia type stuff, or just general history of the West. Scrapbook of the American West by Reedstrom, Fighting Men of the Indian Wars, kind of like an encyclopedia by a guy named O'Neill. And some art books, George Caleb Bingham, Artists on Horseback, about newspaper correspondence. This is an art book here, Joseph Shirley, I think is how you say his name. This was a beautiful book. Let me see if I can just get the cover out here. This guy was really good in this book. Nice collectible. Got that from a museum in like Indiana, maybe. I forget where it was. I can find out. This is a Wild West 365. I just have nowhere to put it. Edward Curtis really goes on the shelf over here, but I'm just out of room. Okay, so I'll move over here. These are all frontier photography books over here. Basically just all books about images of the West. And then these books here are all duplicates. I just have nowhere to put them. I consider them reading copies, although they're all in like excellent shape. I just have so many of them. I have just had to do something with them, so I keep them here. My nice Native American bookend. These I just have nowhere to put them, so they're sitting here. Okay, down here I have all books on the Blackfeet. Back here's whole shelves Blackfeet, and the books in the box in front are James W. Schultz, who wrote, lived with the Blackfeet and wrote about the Blackfeet. Over here I have more Western art, and this is mostly, actually entirely, people from the 1800s. So Bodmer, Paul Kane, Charles Diaz, Alfred Jacob Miller. McKenney Hall Portrait Gallery. So basically all old timers. Down here I've got this is like my cowboy outlaw area on the left. So like you'll find me Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid type stuff down there. A book I keep meaning to read, but that alias Frank Canton is over there. Then I've got this is just a book on the Black Hills. I have nowhere to put it. Books on the Alamo over here. And that big book on the right is called The Last Best Place. That's a Montana anthology. It's just basically like a very thick book. It's like 1,000 chapters, something like that, with all history in there. A lot of journals and things like that. First-hand reminiscence type stuff. Over here is all the time life books. I just have nowhere to put them, so I've got the like Uncle Dick Wutan in the back, On the Border with Crook, Life and Adventures of Frank Groward, and then I've got, of course, in front here those time life books I'm sure you're familiar with: Mexican War, The Great Chiefs, The Frontiersmen, The Scouts. Down here I have on the right some assorted books on art of the West. Charles Shrevogel, Paul Calley, Ernest Burke, Carl Weimar, Frank Tenney Johnson, and then it moves over to all Frederick Remington on that shelf. This bottom shelf over here is all Charles Russell. It's all Charles Russell books all down here, including the latest. And I've got all these like Charlie Russell magazines over here. So I got a lot of Russell. Then up here I've got more Remington. Let's see if I can get this out of here. So more Remington and more Russell on the right. And then I'm reading this Lewis and Clark book. which I only read the entry for any given day that we happen to fall on. If there's an entry for July 1st, I'll read that on July 1st, and then there could be like a 2-week break till the next entry. So I'm just kind of taking that slow. I thought it'd be just fun just to read along with the actual days. These are those military history quarterly magazines I bought for $1 each. I have nowhere to put them right now. They're in front of books that are on Crow Indians back here. Let me see if I can move this over. So let me get into focus. It's not focusing. Oh, there we go. So Plenty Coups, Two Leggings, Memoirs of a White Crow Indian. That could have gone in the frontier section too, but it's so close to the Crows, I just kept it over there. So anything with the Crow Indians is over here. And then I've got on this side here, Cree, Hidatsa, Mandan, Encounters. You have this book, right? Encounters at the Heart of the World, Mandan book. So that's that for that bookcase. Okay, now up here I have all art books of the West. No specific topics, they're just general history of art of the West type stuff. Museum books, just collections. Down here I have Native American artists in particular. So Allen Hauser, Art of the Osage, Woody Crumbo, Kevin Red Star. Let's see if I can... Hold on a second. Okay. Let's see. So, there's Kevin Red Star's book. Visions of the People. And then we go down here into, again, art, Western art books. Frontier Spirit. Oh, here's a Print the Legend. That's photographs, but I couldn't fit it on the shelf with the photographs. This book over here, I think I told you about that book, Sandweiss. So that's over there. Visions of the Big Sky, Myth of the West. This looks interesting. I keep meaning to read that. Through Indian Eyes. This is a good book. Promise if you don't have it. It's kind of historical and fictional. What was the guy's name that did that? Cyril Chapman. And down here I have... Oh boy. Okay, so I have here Wilderness Kingdom. I had no way to put this. It's Nicholas Point. You know, the missionary went out west. Probably was that 1830s or 40s. Then I've got oversized books, more of them on the west. Plains Indians and general American West history. Now these two shelves on the bottom here, this shelf here and this shelf here is all Apaches. And you can see I have like books on top of books because I'm out of room. That's the new book, The Apache Was by Paul Hutton, on its side in the corner there. And then I have all books down here on Apaches, and behind there's The Apache Was by Reedstrom, and there's all books on Apaches down here. Don't fall. Okay, time to get up. Okay, up here I've got books on the Santa Fe Trail, Whoop Up Country, Montana, the Comanchero Frontier, just kind of assorted books that I don't really have a good place for. Crossing the Plains to Oregon, 1853, Gold in the Black Hills, some books on treaties, Treaty of Medicine Lodge, and the 1851 treaty is that Savages, this book here, Savages and Scoundrels. That's the 1851 Horse Creek Treaty. Books on Wild West Show. Let's see. This here is a cool thing. Let me get it out. The Fighting Norths and Pawnee Scouts. I wish I had a better place to put it with within the right category with the frontiersman, but I can't fit it over there. Okay, let's see. Down here, I got books on missionaries and basically like religious people out west. So DeSmet, a guy named Stephen Riggs, the Dakota or Sioux in Minnesota by a guy named Samuel Pond, Tatum, who was with the Kiowas. So basically that topic over there. Then I have books on women in the West that are behind these paperbacks. So all of these are women in the West. So Calamity Jane, Fanny Kelly, A Lady's Life in the Rocky Mountains, Carrington's wives, the two of them wrote books, so they're over here. Susan McGuffin, My Captivity Among the Sioux by Kelly. Okay, down here I've got all books that I did from Lulu. So all those over there. Some of them I was foolish. I didn't take 6x9 back then. I could have shrunk the pages down. So over the coming years I might the ones that I can make them smaller. And then of course I'm going to wind up with more books. So I don't know. I kind of been holding off. I'm just so busy. Down here I have. Let's see. What's in here? There's all kinds of stuff in here. Can't really get a big view right now, but there's all kinds of like what are those called? Like these fold out these kind of things. I've got when you go on trips and they give them out. That's Fort McHenry. They're kind of like maps and like Greek histories. So there's like maybe 100 or more of them in here. Stuff like that. Okay. Get back. Okay. Down here I've got, what do I have? Oh, some stuff I printed up, like duplicates. Okay, while I'm on the floor, these are all books from Lulu that I printed up, these two shelves here. And over here, these are basically, everything's Francis Parkman, Commerce of the Prairies by Greg, Washington Irving upon the Prairies. Over here are more books that I did from Lulu. Here's Matfield and the Santa Fe Trail, Watoya by Gerard, Ruxton of the Rockies. They're basically famous people from the West to separate them from less known people. So you've got Francis Parkman, Washington Irving, Josiah Gregg. Okay, let's see. Next here I've got forts. So can't really maybe see it, but there's like Ben's Fort. It could be soldier forts or just fur trade forts. Fort Laramie, Fort Supply, Fort Reno, forts of the West. Then it goes over to Lewis and Clark on the right, and then the whole bottom shelf is Lewis and Clark. And here's a book I just got. I did a video of Lewis and Clark's World. I have no way to really put it right now, so it's just sitting over there like that. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. Over here. Oh, I forgot. Let's go over here first. So over here I have all my Western movie books. This is not a book or anything here. Okay, so now these are all Western movie books, which I only picked up like in the last 2 months. I really wasn't even trying. They just seemed to pop up. Over here I've got Western fiction in here, and I have like files that tell me what's in each box. These are the books that were in my video. I have nowhere to put them, so I made a little box for them. This is something I printed up in Lulu, kind of art of the West.